ABC, I got some more records to share with you, some different stuff this time. Went for some, not about obscure, but just some things that stuck out to me is I like to do stuff perhaps needing attention. Not the usual stuff, the usual suspects. Maybe I'll do a Desert Island Disc thing sometime, but for now, I like the idea of maybe spreading on the word on some songs, on some albums that maybe don't get as much attention, which I happen to like a lot. The first one is one I'm playing right now, and this is called Fox. A guy I know is a DJ, was in a record store with me and pointed this out and said, "Oh, this album's great, you gotta get it." And I did, and I really like it. It's very, it's weird. It's, the vocalist takes some getting used to. It's a female vocalist by the name of Ruska. Okay. And I don't know any of these other people, but if they ever did anything else, here's the back. A little closer look. But it's very mid-70s, like 74. I don't know when this came out. It feels like it's 75. Okay. Mid-70s. I don't know why, for some reason, it reminds me of... If you ever saw the Brian De Palma movie Phantom of the Paradise, which is like this crazy musical takeoff on Phantom of the Opera with wild makeup and you know, Paul Williams, all kinds of crazy things like that. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's very weird, very mid-70s. And this music, I don't know, just... I always think of that when I think of this music. I don't know why. Let me give you a few seconds of it, if I can, to maybe give you a little idea of what this sounds like. It's a very well-produced record. Sounds great. It's very atmospheric in terms of, you know, nice reverb and a nice sort of studio sound. So I like the sound of the record a lot. And the songs are good. The vocalist just takes some getting used to. Got kind of a squeaky voice to her. Maybe if you like Joanna Newsom or something from modern day, this might appeal to you. Or if you don't mind a sort of a different type of vocalist, then you might just get into this and dig the songs and nice performances. So that's called Fox. I think it's the name of the album as well as the band. This one I saw on Teddy at Eat Sleep Vinyl had a collection of jazz from 1964, which I mean, he always recommends great stuff, but that one was particularly great. I've picked up several. I went over Herbie Hancock's Imperial Isles a couple videos ago. That was from that I picked up. Also picked up Crescent by Coltrane, which is great on that recommendation. And everything that he's recommended on that video, I've really loved. And this is, I don't even know how to say this, Gretchen Moncour III. I never heard of this guy. Some of the usual suspects are on here, like Lee Morgan on trumpet, Jackie McLean on sax. Moncour plays trombone. Bobby Hutcherson on vibes. Bob Crenshaw bass, Anthony Williams, the great Tony Williams on drums. Can't go wrong with Tony Williams. Love Tony Williams. Between Elvin Jones and Tony Williams, I think you got it covered. Although there's a lot of other great drummers. I also love vibes on a record. If you like Eric Dolphy, which I think might have also been on his video, but I knew that one. Out to Lunch is an amazing, amazing record. I really love that sort of avant-garde, but not totally free jazz. Very experimental, but still somewhat contained. This leans on the experimental side, but it's still vaguely contained on some of the recordings. And I love it. I love vibes on a record. They sound amazing. And this is another great recommendation. I'm very glad I got it. It's called Evolution. Gretchen Monkwer III, another one of the Blue Note series. So it sounds pretty good too. The sort of classical one today, I got this is the best of Lorinda Almeida. Almeida? I don't know how to say it. Never heard of him, but saw this and thought I'd pick it up because it's a nice selection. It's got the Adagio from the Moonlight Sonata, arranged for guitar, which is, of course, everyone knows that it's beautiful. Great Bach piece that everyone knows. Arioso from the Harpsichord Concerto in F minor, very familiar. And Clair de Lune, which I've never heard on guitar, and it's wonderful. And some other great pieces. There's a beautiful one on here on the second side. I'm not going to remember which one it is because I didn't follow it along. But it's just a tremendously beautiful sort of trilling piece with the fingers, which is, if you're a guitar player, you can trill with your three fingers, and you sort of have a sort of a da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da going throughout the whole song, while the thumb plays the bass, and it's one of those, and it's really terrific, but I don't know which one it is, so I haven't really done my homework. And again, not like you're going to be likely see this anywhere. It's on Capitol. It's a Rainbow Capitol record, and if you do see it, you'll probably get it cheap. Pick it up because it's really great music to listen to. Here's one that I think gets a bad rap, or no rap at all. You never hear about it. This is David Gates' "Goodbye Girl." Now you probably know the hit "Goodbye Girl" from the movie, which is a great movie too, by the way. If you haven't seen "The Goodbye Girl" with Richard Dreyfuss and Marsha Mason, it's really a gem from the late 70s. And I love that period. I was like 12, 13, it was just in the right sweet spot for me. So maybe there's a personal connection, I don't know. My grandmother took me to see "The Goodbye Girl," and I have a great memory of that. And I love the song. It's a beautiful song, right up there with the best of Bread. And this whole album is solid, really good late 70s California type smooth pop, just like Bread, just like The Goodbye Girl, the whole album. It's really terrific, and you never hear anybody talking about it, but it totally works. He was really firing on all cylinders here, so I like there's a few of these records from the 70s. I'll go over some of them in other videos, which I really like. Just sort of smooth pop from the 70s. A lot of it's junk, but every once in a while there's a gem, and this is one of them. And speaking of the late 70s, another album I think is overlooked. I talked about London Town in a previous album, previous video, and keeping with the ex-Beatles theme from the same period, I have George Harrison's self-titled album. Again, you never hear anybody talk about this. In his career, you hear "All Things Must Pass," and then Cloud 9 happens, and everything else in between is kind of lost in the shuffle. But I thought, maybe he lost the thread after "All Things Must Pass" a little bit. He started to get it back on 33 1/3, which I think is another pretty good album. It's at least half terrific, and half, This is about 3/4 to 80% terrific. It's not all terrific. It's not one of the greatest albums of all time or anything, but this is really, really great stuff. Of course, it had the hit "Blow Away" on it, which is a sort of a minor hit, but I remember it being on the radio at the time, just loving it as a kid, not really knowing, who George Harrison was. But it's just a terrific song. with, of course, the guitars are made amazing. He's got Not Guilty on here, which of course was he did with the Beatles for the White Album sessions, and then never made it. So it's good to hear that here. Although my favorite cycle on here is side 2, starting with Dark Sweet Lady, which has one of his best acoustic guitar solos. He didn't do many. It is such a wonderful, wonderful guitar solo on there, and I'm sure it's got to be him sometime. I don't think he had his friend Eric play on this. Okay, Eric Clapton plays the intro to Love Comes to Everyone, which is a very nice song too. But you got Dark Sweet Lady, Your Love Is Forever, which is kind of it's got a beautiful sort of chorus sound on the guitar, and a wonderful arranged, I think you might have a drop D tuning or some kind of alternate tuning on it, but it really is some terrific guitar, and Soft Touch is really nice. So, and If You Believe is not bad. So sort of side 2 is really what I always turn to here. But Here Comes the Moon on side 1 is also a decent sort of revisiting Here Comes the Sun. Again, too overlooked. You probably all know this, but if you don't, and you like George at all, get this one, because I really think this is one of his better albums. I think that's all I got today. So that was pretty quick and easy and relatively painless. Try to do another one soon. Try to pull out a few more weird ones. See what happens. See you next time.